All right, here we go. We have one of the most dopest artists like in the game right now, straight out of Markham, Dutchie. How are you doing today, man?
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me. My name is Dutchie. And like homie said, I'm from Markham. I'm representing 905.
Yeah, man. Most definitely, man. Now, I've been seeing you put in like a lot of work lately and all that, you know? Like, I know recently you just had a show, just like a couple days back and all that. You had, I think you mentioned that you had like Fame Holiday on there. A lot of other like people showed up too, like in Brampton. Like, heard it was like a pretty dope event from there and all that, you know?
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was 2 days ago. BTM threw the event. Bigger Than Me Productions held it at Calypso Huts. Had homie Fame Holiday pull up. Monte Biggs pulled up. Butters pulled up. Like a lot of dope acts. I did my thing. They did their thing, and yeah, man, it's just part of the journey. You know what I mean? Rocked out.
Yeah, man, nah, most definitely, you know, and you know, you actually have like a crazy like background, like even before like the whole like music release, you know, so you know, you were battle up rapping and all that, like free with like all the past battles you had, like two for Underground London or UGK London and all that, another one from like I think a college radio station, like you had like that battle from there, and then you know, I've seen your work with like Spitty as well, which is like very dope as well too. One of your recent songs, like Marathon 95 and all that, like very dope in that sense. And then, you know, your videos like on YouTube were also like very like unique. I think you only had like one music video so far, I think, which was for Narcos, like sort of like inspired by the TV show for a bit too. Like that was like kind of dope. And then also you've had like other singles too, like Overdose, and then like all these other like, you know, lyrical rap type stuff. Like I've been seeing it. It's pretty far so far, you know.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I try to keep my pen game strong. You know what I mean? So I have hip hop shit. So shit that's like underground hip hop, bars heavy, flow heavy, and then I try to get some updated shit. You know what I mean? Some melodic shit. Flow's nice, sounds good. Just try to be versatile as possible, and hopefully I can keep growing, and I know I will. So it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, no, most definitely, man. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to start off like the story like right here in that sense to start from like the very beginning. So you grew up in Markham. That's correct.
Yeah, Markham Steels.
Sure. So like, which ends do you grow up by like in Markham, and what was like the environment like for you? Would you say you had like a very decent childhood back then, or would you say it was different?
Yeah. It wasn't like no crazy ass. Like everyone has their own stories. Everyone has their own wars and glory days. You know what I mean? Like, I have my hate and love for the block, but at the end of the day, I don't regret nothing. I love the people I met. A lot of my brothers are from there. And it was dope. It was dope. Honestly, I found everyone was a fan of hip-hop, but there wasn't necessarily anybody stepping up and doing it. There was a couple of heads. Like, I remember back in the day, there was someone, remember what's his name, Vital? I remember Vital? I remember some guy named, he was doing his thing at a point, and then we had a couple other people doing their thing, but no one really elevating and putting Markham on the map. So I was always a fan of hip hop. I loved it. I've been rapping since, like I told you earlier, grade 4, and I had cyphers all the way up. And homies would always tell me, "Yo, drop a song." Always planned on doing it, and then once I did it, I was like, "Fuck it, this is what I want. I know I'm not going back," and I got love. People showed me love, and yeah.
Nah, most definitely, man. I know. As you mentioned before, like you were like the only like one putting on like for Markham for a bit too, but like Markham, like even back then, was it well known as like an industry like and back then for music, or just like as a community at the time?
It was just community. Not really anybody, like I said, not really anybody doing much back then. Now we got crazy people. Like I said, I'm doing my thing. I got my brothers from Money City doing their thing. I got my homies Nuage, they're doing their crazy thing. And a lot of my homies are doing their thing now, so best believe that in a year in time, couple years time, however long it takes, the rest of the world will know about Markham, and not just Markham, but 905 and as a whole. You know what I mean? They'll see what the talent is.
I think like right now, like it's not really known like for music like at that time too. Like I know like a couple like YouTubers like were from there back then, but I think that's like only it from there. But I think right now, like aside from like Mississauga and like Richmond Hill and Vaughan, all these other places too, I do feel like the East End and like Markham are actually like on a rise right now, like with Pickering, Ajax, Oshawa, like up north Markham too, and all that. Like even like Milliken too. Like I think those cities might be on the rise like for a bit as well.
No, definitely, definitely. And even backtracking a little bit, like you said, there's a couple of YouTubers in Markham too, like Lily Singh. She's a big one, and yeah, definitely. Like I said, we can hold our weight. We're gonna be definitely up there. And but back in the days, people didn't know about a lot of towns and a lot of cities, and yeah, we're just gonna keep doing our thing.
Yeah, man. So I want to start it off in your introduction to music. So, like, what was like your first introduction to music in that sense?
Dancehall. Dancehall was actually my shit at first. I fuck with dancehall heavy, Vybz Kartel, Mavado, Mongolo, those guys, and then I listened to rap. I definitely listened to rap. I listened to like 50 and all these bands. Once I heard like Massacre by 50, all that shit, I fell in love with rap. And then Nas was definitely my favorite rapper. Always studied his shit, learned from his shit, and honestly, after a while, I just took it upon myself to be like, yo, I can do this. Like, I know I can do this. From spitting along to these guys to practicing my own bars, my own poems. Even before that, like writing stories and stuff like that, I knew I could elevate that game. And yeah, that's what I kept doing and stuck with it.
Yeah. Nah, most definitely. So mind if I ask, so like the whole like dancehall stuff, was that like from your family like that introduced you to that, or were there like any like people that introduced you to like dancehall in that sense?
Nah, so my my older heads actually were into. It's funny, like a lot of these guys were always into dancehall, soca stuff. We're all Tamil, so you know what I mean. You wouldn't really expect that, but they would more so be into it for different purposes, like DJing and mixes and all that stuff for parties and whatnot. But I really liked it. You know what I mean? I really fucked with it. I'd be rapping along, not even understanding half the shit I'm saying at the time. I'm like, 8 years old and shit. But yeah, it was something about it that really stuck with me. Like how they could just hit the beat, how they hit the beat, every pocket, the melody was crazy. And yeah, I just fucked with it so heavy, and then yeah, just brought it up.
Most definitely, because I think with dancehall, it's actually one of the most like influential like forms of like music within urban music, with hip hop, R&B, and all that. Like initially, hip hop was actually first introduced, within like the whole dancehall community and reggae, with DJs like spinning and scratching like certain beats and all that, like using like influential acts like Sister Nancy and all that, and like Peter Tosh and like the Wailers, using their unique vibes and recreating like a certain like two-step, three-step type beats and all that. So
no, 100%. And like you see it used a lot of the times, like you said, Sister Nancy's like Bomb Bomb. You've heard that in how many commercials and like how many like it's crazy.
Most definitely. So aside from being introduced to like Nas and Jay-Z and all these other artists, how did you get into like rapping like on your own, and what inspired you to become like a rapper and artist?
So when I was younger, I used to be a good writer, actually. I used to write a lot of stories. And once I got into rap, like started fucking with it more, I was like, yo, I can actually do this because I'm already nice at writing. Let me just rhyme this shit. And it's funny too, because it didn't translate well at first. Like my bars were pure ass. I had no bars. I was rhyming cape with tape and not making sense. And it was funny because I tried showing this to my family, like cousins, siblings, and I would get shitted on. But the funniest thing was I was like, yo, I know I'm sick. Even though this is shit, I know I'm sick. Kept with it, and yeah, over time, like you hear it all the time, consistency is key, right? I was consistent as fuck with just learning how to hold my own, hold the sword in this ring, you know what I mean? And yeah, eventually the skills just locked in, and it became natural after that. And then I became who you see today.
No doubt. I know, like in some cases too, like most family members or people like within your family might be sort of like against music in some cases too. They would rather like pursue like for you to get like an education or to go as far as like getting like a good 9 to 5. I don't know if your family wanted you to diverge away from music to pursue something.
Hondo P, Hondo P.
Would it be like something different?
No, definitely. My parents hated that shit. Like anytime it's funny too because I never told them I wanted to be a rapper at first. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do. I said like every other kid. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a chef at first because I loved food, but then I was like, fuck making this shit. I love eating it. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, after I told them, because once I knew I wanted to be it, I was like, fuck it. I showed them, got no love, but it wasn't no hate either. It wasn't like, you're not gonna make it if you try, da 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 da. It was more so, yo, be smart. Like, this isn't gonna work out. Do this. This is gonna get you there. I was just thinking bigger, and I took a chance, and I took a risk. And after a while, once they seen the resilience and seen that I was real with it and actually following through, like, started buying my own shit, set up and all of that, started actually, they would hear me practicing 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you know what I mean? Coming into my room, yo, shut the fuck up, da da da, we got work in the morning. But once they seen that consistency, they're like, all right, what more can they do but support, you know what I mean?